Okay, we just left Macro. It's 13:30, almost 13:40. An hour of my time in Macro was talking to a fascinating Canadian gentleman that I met while I was filming Australian beef, which I did last week, the beef part. So, God, this whiskey's good. Just kidding, it's not whiskey. But I had waited for the meat section to clear out, and I don't like filming people without asking them first, right? Unless it's like you can't recognize them. Like, I don't want to be in their face, that kind of thing. Like many of my friends that do YouTube will ask ahead of time, Thai video, can I do? Oh yeah, no problem. But that's at like a shop or whatever. But then when you have like civilians, just regular old people, trying to choose their meat or trying to choose what vegetables they want to put in their shopping cart, and out comes some, whatever you want to call them, person with a camera and just starts shooting away. That's just not in me, So I'll ask if it's in the right opportunity, the right situation. I'll ask. But if it's like today at Macro, gotta keep looking down, and there's customers right there going about their daily business, I just choose not to film. And I'll wait around until that area clears. If I'm really, oh God, I gotta have this shot, I might ask. Otherwise, I'll just pass. But my first video, I started shooting when I got out of the truck at Macro. And that specific video was just for my sister, because I had just hung up the phone for her. And she says, "What's a Macro?" And I said, I spelled it out, and I said, it's just like a Costco or a Sam's Club, Same but different. And I said, they're great, And I said, I'll shoot some video for you. So then basically, throughout, from then on, I kept shooting in portrait mode for shorts. Just little quick shorts, like Bobby puts up and numerous other people put up. Just, hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing that, No intro, no outro, just the title. Maybe some dialogue, maybe some not. I don't know how many I shot in there, but I really wish I'd have got that Canadian gentleman on camera. Now we have our we've exchanged phone numbers and such, because I'm going to be going up there, back up to Chiang Rai, and meeting him and his wife and the foundation that they've created. And I'd really like to spend some time with this guy, because he was just want to say brilliant, because we're on the same page on a lot of shit, but that would be like a narcissistic kind of a comment. So I really like this guy, and a lot of my friends that are in my circle of trust would really enjoy meeting this guy. And but I said, while we're standing there at the meat section, I said, God dang, I'd really like to get you on film, but I'm not even going to ask. So I just want to stand here and enjoy our conversation. And then I motioned, let's move. We're kind of in the way. So we moved out of the way like 3 times. Over an hour we spoke. And before I started making this video, I Googled him, and everything he said was true to form, man. He was in his younger years, he was a professional skier in Canada, Olympic bound, and he got I'm smiling, but he got hit by a car. Just took out his knee. He said my knee was up at my chin. It just up. I'm like, well, that kind of pooches your freaking your racing. I said, what discipline? What was your event? He said the giant slalom. And I said, shit, man. That's my favorite to watch. Okay. I mean, the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, all of the Olympics, but we're talking about the winter ones now. The Winter Olympics have changed so much since when the wide world of sports broadcast them, the agony of defeat and the victory, the agony of defeat. I know most of you guys can picture that skier just wiping out off the ramp, for the big ski jump, the long jump, whatever they call it. But my favorite event was the giant slalom. And gosh, I'm having a little brain cramp now. My favorite skier back in the day was, I believe, from Austria, and I think his name was Franz Klammer. I mean, when he won his event, he was completely out of control. He was like on wipeout mode every flippin' turn, and he won. I'm gonna have to Google that, but that's what name is sticking in my head right now. But anyway, it was really fun talking to this guy. I mean, and again, we were on the same page, and the same page of all kinds on a big book. Okay. Yeah. He great guy. He had a massive list, okay, of stuff to buy, and I said, restaurant? You buy it for a restaurant? No, this is just for us. And then he started talking about his foundation, because we've adopted 8 children. 4 of them are in uni now, but 4 are still at home. His wife's Canadian, and but they've adopted 8 children and raised them. And like I said, 4 of them are in university right now. I think that's pretty cool. Big bump coming up. Gotta love it. I used to love that shit when I was rally racing or motocrossing, but I hate it now. Anyway, yeah. Can't say enough about this guy. I'm looking forward to running up to Chiang Rai and hanging out with him. And checking out the foundation and some of the work they do. Not for YouTube purposes, but for personal purposes. If it happens to get filmed or whatever, it happens to get filmed. But my intent is to just speak to someone of intelligence, and because we by pure chance met in a macro. Looking at meat, at beef in particular, and we just started talking. And where are you from? And I'm from the United States. What part? I told him. Oh yeah. I know. I've been there. I know exactly where you're talking about. He says, and told me where in Canada he was from, and the only parts of Canada that I've been to have been British Columbia and Vancouver Island, because my great aunt, my dad's mom's sister, my great aunt, married a Canadian, and they lived on Victoria Island. And beautiful home. That's where I first got into koi fish, by the way. Their home was such a beautiful home, and they had koi canals through their property. I mean, and Japanese style bridges, and just, you know, they were doing fine for money. But that's when I really became fascinated with fish. She had them all named, and she'd tap the water a certain way, and the certain ones would come up, and she'd hand feed them. You know, I was just cool as shit. I said, man, this is really, and I'm talking hundreds of koi. You know, like Dave, big ones, mature ones, immature ones, mature ones. You know, that kind of thing. Waiting for an ambulance to come whipping by. Just lights, no siren. Anyway, so yeah, we me and this Canadian hit it off. Yeah, I mean, we talked the full spectrum from today's or yesterday's current events, you know, to our heritage, that kind of thing. I mean, and everything in between. Pharmaceuticals and who his cousin works for or works for, and gave him advice about certain things, you know, stuff like that. Don't want to divulge too much, you know, but you know, everybody here knows. If they don't, they're gonna know now that I served in the United States Army. Fortunately, during peacetime. Let's get that out of the way right now. Now, a lot of my veteran friends were in the mix. We're in the heat of it. Saw a battle. Okay? Or we're in a hot zone. They may not have been in a firefight, but they served in a hot zone where the potential of attack was there. They were where other bases were getting attacked. They may not have been attacked. But so I served in peacetime, so I'm fortunate that way. But now I really lost my train of thought. Totally lost what I was saying. That's okay. It's a nice truck in front of me. I'll let that distract me. I better be looking down. Anyway, back to the military thing. In the military, they line you up and they vaccinate you, right? Boom, boom, boom. They're shooting you in your right arm and shooting you in your left, your shoulders, right? And then they're giving you an injection over here or an injection over here. And I mean, they shoot you up with everything that you may need, so you're not spreading anything or catching anything. And they don't know where you're going to be deployed in 6 months, after all your training, right? So they're getting you ready for every zone. And so I'm not an anti-vaxxer, and I've had Pfizer to come here. I came during COVID, and I had to have Pfizer, or I had to be vaccinated, and I chose Pfizer, and then for my booster, and then as soon as I got that card or certificate, whatever, then I got my visa for retirement out of LA, and there you have it. So yeah, just pulled into the driveway, take my seatbelt off, but since I'm not supposed to lift anything, I gotta unplug my phone because it's not charging now. My chauffeur can do all the work. Anyway, so yeah, so I've had vaccinations my entire life, but I know a lot of people that are completely against them. And in Washington State, man, you can't go to a public school without being vaccinated. There's ways around it. There's waivers and whatever, but a lot of people will choose to homeschool. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of the vaccine part. Just telling you about my day. And yeah, just it's amazing, who you meet in your travels here, or what you see that you haven't seen before. I mean, I've been coming here a lot. People say, "Oh man, you must know everything," and I'm like, capital N-O, no, I do not. And I kind of take pride in learning something new. And I'm not talking language-wise, okay? I'm talking anomaly-wise. Love learning something new about Thailand. And I'm like, holy Toledo, I had no idea. None. So it's just funny how that is. But I like to learn new things, But learning something new about Thailand every day is like, it's eye-opening. I've said it before, probably 100 times, but I'll meet someone that's in Thailand for the first time, and they'll say something. I saw it today. What's that? And they'll say it, and I'll go, really? No kidding. I had no idea. Yeah, I can't, like off the top of my head, recall what it was at this particular time, but just because someone's been coming here or has lived here for decades or a couple of years doesn't mean they know everything. It's all where your circle is, where you travel, where where you hang out, what province you're in, who you meet by chance. It's just fascinating. It's like that in the States too, okay? You just got to talk. You just got to meet people and talk to them. It's like, oh crap, I didn't know that. Well, the United States I know a lot about. A lot of, trivial crap. But, there's a lot of people that don't know certain things about what's happening in their own world from my own state that have no idea. Just no idea. So I think I've heard all the doors stop closing now, so all the work is done. God, just like a sloth. But no, I'm following the doctor's orders. That's my excuse. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Man, it's getting hot in here already. But anyhow, I think that's it for about now, I'll put this up today. No intro, no outro. Just a chat about my day, or a portion of it. So, yeah. I hope this video finds you well. If you've made it this far, thanks. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I mean, I do. I'm not in it for the money, right? Everybody's heard that before. So I'm not in it for the money, but they're many of them, they're lying through their teeth. But I'm fine for money. I'm comfortable. Would I like to have some more money? Yeah. Who wouldn't? Right? Buy a few extra things, donate more money to different foundations that I don't think I might. Okay, so don't don't mark my words here or take them as literal. I doubt very seriously that I will put up any videos of the foundations that I support. My camera doesn't come out when I'm there. I'm doing it for selfish reasons. Pure selfish reasons. It makes me feel good to support X organization or Y organization. Okay? It makes me feel good. So I'm selfish in that regard. And I doubt I'll ever put any of that on camera. Now, I've taken photographs of staff and things like that, group shots, and I've done that. But I've not filmed what we're doing. That's just for me, for my memory bank. Oh, this is, XYZ. I don't do any of that promotional kind of stuff. I will, if I continue, I will eventually promote certain things, certain organizations. I've got one in particular already that I want to promote. I want to put their name down in the more section right below your thing, because they've handled some things for me and taken care of me, but I'll ask them first. I'm not just going to do it. But I don't reach a very big audience. I half the time I gotta ask Google, how do I see how many subscribers I have? Because I don't know if I'm supposed to go to my channel or go to YouTube Studio. I haven't got that in the brain pan yet on the steps to do that. Pretty funny, huh? But anyway, I just went over 2,000 when I took an abeyance. Let's say I took a break. There were some people that we all know people that if they don't have an answer, they'll make one up. See, one day I was talking to a friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine in my circle of trust that lives in Thailand. I says, I think I'm just going to take a break. Because I was putting this pressure on myself to, gosh, I don't have a video to put out. Oh, I don't, you know what I mean? Right? And I was learning my editing program and gaining a following, and coming from moderating over 50 channels, a number of them in the United States that I never spoke on. Okay, I had a separate name, but I never. So the other moderators didn't know that it was Mr. Mitch from Thailand. They, Joe Flugenhofer or whatever. Okay, they thought it was somebody else that would delete an inappropriate comment. But usually, even in Thailand, I get blamed for, oh, Mitch is in the house, you better watch out. And it's like, dude, hey, thanks for giving me the credit, but the other guys, completely competent moderators that moderate with me on the same channels, they're knocking that shit out before I get to it. You know what I mean? Sometimes the feed's right and I'm getting it first. But many times they're getting it, and they're knocking it out. And they're going, oh, man, thank you. And I'm like, I didn't delete it. The moderators know who did it because it shows it was this person was hidden or this comment was deleted by X. Or M. MM. And, but in America, these were channels where the channel creator approached me and asked if I could moderate for them. And I said, through a series of discussions, what are your requirements? What's a go or no go, right? Basic, just the nuts and bolts of it. What can go, what can slide, and what can't. I can say in my early days when I was wet behind the ears and moderating, this is running really long, I apologize. When I was moderating in my early days, I was blocking people. I mean, you're done, right? You know what I'm saying? Instead of just deleting the comment or timing them out for a little bit. Times have changed. You used to time them out. It was 5 minutes, 360 seconds. So that's an eternity when you have only one channel. Now, a lot of these guys have 10, right? So they'll just come right back in. So you block them. So then they have to use another one. And then you block that. And then you block that. You end up, blocking them all. And then then you're making them work for you because they got to create another account, which only takes a couple of minutes, okay? But anyway, it's like, But that really irritates the hell out of somebody. I mean, I've been timed out. And I'm like, God, I was even halfway through my statement, what I wanted to say, and then you're like twiddling your thumbs for 5 minutes. Then you come back in politely, but when you time somebody out back in the day, they would be hotter than a campfire. Let's just go that route. I have something else better to say for how hot something could be, but I'm just going to say hotter than a campfire. Okay, when they come back in the chat, they are pissed off, and then it just goes crazy from there. But back in the day, back to what I was saying, I would block people, and it's funny now. I'm YouTube friends and physical friends because we've met up in Pattaya. That, man, when you first started moderating, oh my God, we were having such a good time, getting you worked up and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I know, man. Shit, I was wet, man, wet behind the ears, green. And you take everything personal, and you can't do that when you're moderating. You gotta get out of the box. This person's a friend of yours. If they say this slide, this can go and that can go, which is different on every channel, you do it. You try to do what the creator wants you to do. Protect them, basically. You don't want comments going by where they're talking about the royal family or defaming citizens or restaurants, or you can say I didn't enjoy such and such, but you don't go start putting on Facebook such and such a pizza joint blankety sucks and I'd never go there again, and share it with all your friends. I mean, you don't do that. You're going to get in trouble. So I'm really off on a tangent here, but when I was moderating, it was 53, 55 channels, and a bunch of them were in the States that I never commented on. I didn't engage like I do here. Like, hey, so-and-so, how's your leg healing up? Or how's your mom doing? How'd the move go? Right? Engagement. I always just tell people I'd go for the content, but I'd stay for the chat. And then you get to know bit by bit a little bit about these people and where they're coming from. And then later on, they're because they're watching Thailand videos because they're thinking about a vacation, a holiday there, and don't know anything about it, or they watch the regular guys like Chuck and James and Joe and Mike and a slew of people. And I mean, Thailand bound and da 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 da. There's 100 that I could rattle off, but they watch them to watch. If they're walking down the street and they're reminiscing of themselves walking down that same soy, or going into that restaurant or that restaurant, and then they're chatting with people of a similar background that, yeah, I'm going back in November, I'm going back, whatever, 4 more weeks and I'm there, that kind of thing. And then there's people that are doing research for a first-time trip. So, and that's fun to chat with them about what you feel it's like. And then the next thing you know, you jump on the stream. I may not be there right when it starts. You may not get a heads up because I moderate for so many channels. I as of late, I have to pick and choose. Well, right now with my eye, I can't be, like, I've been face down for 35 minutes looking at trying to look at my camera or my phone for 35 minutes, but I've been up and over and up and around. I tend to do that, and it's not good for my eye at this stage of healing. So I've been keeping my video watching my friends to a bare minimum. But people have their favorites. They just gotta watch it every day, or everyone that comes out. But I've told all my friends, I can't. I'm way behind. I get information from my friends about what's happening, unless I get a personal phone call, a line call, which happens quite often, from certain individuals will call me when they're out of town, right? They're traveling. They'll call, ask how I'm doing, that kind of thing. And, checking up on me, which I really appreciate. And I'll get those kind of calls. And then I'm up to speed on exactly where they are in the world today. Because people will ask me, where's so-and-so at right now? And I said, I don't know. Some people put them up like right now, right today. They got a race to put it up today. And then other people fill their funnel, right? What happens if you get sick and you can't do any videos? So you want to be, so many days ahead. If you're a three days out of the week, once a week, every day vlogger, you got to have so many in the can, right? And scheduled, because you could get sick and not make anything, and YouTube will keep clicking away and producing or posting your videos. So me, I got nothing in the can, right? What you're getting today is the reason I'm posting it today, because it's a one shot. There's no edit. There's not going to be an intro or an outro. It'll say in the title what it is, and there'll be some description. That's it. Boom, post. And I would have already done the first one, but we were on the road, and it said it's going to take 2.5 hours to post that. And I said, cancel. I'll just wait till I get home and use my Wi-Fi. Not the community Wi-Fi, but my Wi-Fi. So, 15 minutes from now, a video of the way up to Chiang Rai will be posted. So if you've actually watched this far, you're the first to know. All right, I've been too babbly enough. 39 minutes is just far too long. And I've told a number of my good friends, I have to take your videos in chunks. And they're like, hey, I get it, man. So I'm like, I'll take 10 minutes at a time, maybe 15. And then, there's only so many hours in the day, right? I forget who I was talking to, but I said, if I watched everybody that I really like, and B, that I moderate for, I'd never get out of bed. I'd just be like, boom. The sheets would literally be infused into my skin. Anyway, we're pushing 40 minutes now, so I hope you guys enjoyed me babbling. I appreciate it if you watched 1 minute, gave me a thumbs down, gave me a thumbs up. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. And if my friends don't have time to watch, I get it. I understand. So it's not it's not the end of the world. I get it. Okay. So I'm thinking that's about it. I'm gonna look in the back seat. Yeah, the back seat's empty. Truck's getting warm. Chauffeur already left. I on another tangent. My landlord and her husband. Actually, she's not the landlord. She's the landlord's sister. The actual landlord lives in Pittston, right? Pittston, like where Jake's place is. And so she owns this complex. And her sister is like the juristic, right? I go to her for if something's not working right or whatever. But most of the time, I'll just fix it myself. I'm that kind of guy. It gives me something to do. I'll go to Global House and I'll grab some plumbing pipe or something, and I'll work without a permit. You don't make a spot repair, right? It's like, nah, mock's nix, man. $2, but it gives me something to do. And so I'll do that kind of stuff. Other times I'll go, hey, the roof's leaking, and then I'll just leave my door unlocked, right? Oh, I'm going to be over here. So yeah, just go in. Yeah, just go in. You don't even have to call me when you get there and say, okay, we're going in. I just want to come home and see, oh, they were here today. You know what I mean? It's pretty lax. So anyway, they have been above and beyond the call of duty, right? With, surprising me with meals. Hey, we're going to Macro. You need a lift. This kind of thing. And I'll do that. I'll ride with them. I'll jump in their BYD, which, God dang it, man. Made in China. Build your dream. But man, that car's freaking comfortable. It rides excellent. Now, and it's got a fantastic warranty. The battery's warranted for X amount of cycles. And Dave, the juristic's husband, the landlord, I call him, but technically she's not the landlord. But anyway, he said, I'm guaranteed so many cycles, and that means fully charged to 0. That's a cycle. Now, normally you're at 100%, and you may get down to 70%, and then you recharge it. That only counts as 30% of a cycle. Follow me? It's not a full cycle. So he says, this car's, I'll be dead before this battery is out of warranty. I said, that's a thought. But seriously, they're well made. Now, I don't know if they're going to start, starting on fire and stuff, but it's guaranteed to float for 30 minutes upright. That car. That was a new thing I learned back when we were on one trip up to the mall and then to the computer shop. Because, so people in Thailand occasionally find themselves in hood deep water. Like, holy shit, boom, you're in the water. Because obviously flooding, but that car, it's not going to start on fire. The batteries aren't going to short out. you're going to survive. You can roll your windows down and climb out, unless you're fully submerged, but it's guaranteed to float for 30 minutes. Remember like the old VW Beetles? They said the same thing about them. It will float for 30 minutes. Yeah. That's enough trivia for today. Now I'm looking at the granny's garden. That's my house is here. The granny's garden is there. And the spirit house is right over there. But I'm watching a butterfly on the flower. I know as soon as I get out, it's going to fly away. But that would be a cool, up close shot. But anyway, I'm just enjoying that right now. Anyhow, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. See you on the next one. Bye.